Hello everyone. Welcome back to the session on your data flow testing today. So in this particular session, we'll be trying to cover this particular data flow testing strategies here. Okay, so this is the last topic for your second unit too. Now here coming to testing till in the previous sessions, we discussed about something called as data flow models and we discussed about data flow graphs, how we can design actually data flow graphs in order to perform this data flow testing. And later on, we have discussed about something called as data flow model. And in this, we have seen that how we can design a data flow model for with respect to different objects, object variables, or I mean data objects, or we can call it as a variables. And with respect to that variables, how we have designed the data flow model we have seen. And we have also discussed that the data flow models can be designed only with the help of something called as control flow models. Means the first and foremost thing, whenever a program is given, we people will be first constructing a control flow graph like this in this particular way. And once that control flow graph has been completed here, then we will go ahead and will prepare a data flow model where we will be representing the link weightages, like we will be representing the weighted links here with respect to the sequence of actions that are taking place between the nodes. So in between these two nodes, what is the sequence of action that is taking place that we are representing using this particular variables. And those variables, what we have is nothing but D, U, C, uh, P, and then something called K. I think you people are familiar with this. D is nothing but defined. So we have defined a particular variable in order to use it. Then we are using it for something. Either we are using it for the calculation purpose or we are using that particular variable for a predicate. And once that variable has been used within the entire program, finally we can terminate that particular variable either by killing that particular variable or just removing it. Okay. So with the help of these particular sequences, I mean, whatever the variables, what are the letters you people are seeing here, apart from this, we had around some 9 different type of 2-digit sequence numbers. Even that we can use it. And apart from that, we have another 6-digit number sequence number like minus T, minus K, minus U, I guess, and then D, K, U. So we can use apart these kind of actions in order to represent this particular data models. Now here, these models are represented with respect to variables. Like in the previous slide, you have seen it, how we have created. This is the data model with respect to the variable Z within the program. In this program, we have a variable called as Z. So how that particular variable has been defined or how it is used, that is represented here in this particular scenario. Then same way we have discussed about something like variable with respect to C, R, and B followed with N, A. So every individual variable, whatever we are using, we are going to represent a data flow model. It will help us to determine the data flow testing, how we can do it. So today we are going to discuss about something called as data flow strategies. Okay, we are going to discuss about something called as data flow strategies here. So what are the different strategies we can apply? You know that for performing testing, it's not that a single kind of scenario will come. For example, let me give an example here. That let us suppose I gave one of the program, one program to all the 54 students or 60 students within a particular class. Now, what will happen? All the students will, if I ask them not to copy and write in your own format, means write the logic by thinking on their own. So definitely I will be having around, suppose in a class we have 60 students, so I will be having 60 different logics, right? Isn't it? Same way here, when we are performing this data flow testing, definitely there are different strategies are there in order to perform this particular kind of testing. So here, that strategies are what we are going to discuss in this particular scenario. So what are the different strategies we can use in order to perform testing, and which strategy is better, which strategy is optimal? That also we can also think about it, or we can also go through that particular thing. So, but before doing that, what he's saying is that we are going to actually most of the data flow testing, whatever we are discussing here, this will be purely structural testing strategies. Remember that whatever the data flow testing strategies we are going to discuss here, these are purely structural strategies. And apart from that, whatever structural strategies are nothing but they are pure functional. I mean, they are pure structural, you can say. They are pure structural, or you can also call them as something called functional testing. You can also call it as functional testing. They are in this particular case. And apart from this, you have something like hybrid strategies too. Hybrid is nothing but the one of some features from the pure structural testing or some from the functional testing. We can get it. We can just combine it and we can get a hybrid kind of model in order to test that particular data flow, how the data is getting flowing through it. So here, in contrast to these things, whatever I have explained here, apart from that, the testing strategy, the data flow testing strategy also focuses on what happens to the data objects. It is not only focused about this purely structural testing or functional testing or hybrid kind of testing strategies what we can implement. Apart from that, it is also concerned about the data objects what we are using. That is nothing but the variables. How these particular variables are represented in between the links. Here we are representing the variables for D, U, K, so on these variables. So how using these letters we are representing this data object, that is also concerned about by this particular data flow testing. And how they can do that? Only by the help of a path selection. How they can determine, how the data flow testing can determine these things, like how, what are the data objects have been used and how the data objects have been defined and all used or killed, or all in this between links whatever we are representing. That is what is calling it as link weightages. So how the link weightages have been represented, how it can determine is depending upon the path selection. So the way the paths that we are selecting in order to perform this particular testing, data flow testing, based upon that particular path we can determine that which particular mm, strategy or which particular strategy can be implemented here. Okay, it's purely depends upon the path selection, or you can also call it as testing, selecting the test path segments, like which segment you are using or which path segment you are using in order to perform that particular testing. And within that, how the data objects have been represented and all will be taken care by this particular data flow testing strategies. That is what he means to say in this particular thing. So that is what he's saying in the third point. Like you can see here, test path segments. So we need to generate, or we need to select the test path segments in order to determine which path segment is having or using these letters D, U, K, DU, double D, whatever it might be. Okay. So here, whereas coming to here in this particular thing, since I'm talking about strategies here, here he is saying that since and I told you that there will be multiple strategies in order to perform this data flow testing. I told you that some strategies might be stronger, right? Some strategies might be optimal, some might be stronger, some will be having worse complexities, right? Same way here also, the strategies whatever we are selecting, either they may be stronger or they may be particular strategy may be a weaker. A particular strategy may be strong or a particular strategy might be a weak strategy. So how we can determine which one is stronger and which one is weak here? That can be determined using something called as variable X. Okay, you please consider this a variable X here. Sorry, not variable, this is a strategy. Let us suppose that we have two different strategies here, okay, for performing data flow testing. One is strategy X, one is strategy Y. Now here in this case you can say that this particular strategy is stronger than this particular strategy Y. When we can say that it is a stronger than Y? Only on one condition. What is that condition here? Is that if all the test cases whatever you people are writing within this particular strategy, that is strategy Y, all these particular test cases are present in this particular X. Apart from that, this X strategy have its own test cases. Okay, so he is having some test cases T1, T2, T3 something. Apart from that, this is what we call this, whatever the strategies, what are the test cases we are defining in this particular strategy called Y, these are also present along with this, like T4, T5, T6. Okay, so T4, T5, T6 are something are the test cases which we have in this particular strategy Y. But test case strategy X is having his own test case strategies, that is T1, T2, T3 test cases. Apart from that, he is having the test cases of the strategy Y. So which one is stronger if I ask you? So definitely strategy X is much more stronger when compared to strategy Y. Apart from that, what he's saying additional to this particular thing is that in case if this is not the case, then it will be vice versa, means strategy Y will be stronger when compared to this particular strategy X. So based upon these particular things, there are some terminologies. Okay, we do have certain terminologies that have been defined within the data flow testing. So let's discuss them one by one. First one, what we have is something called as uh, definition or definition clear path segment. Okay, this is what we call it as a definition clear path segment. And the next one what we have is something called as loop free path segment. Followed with that we have a simple path segment, and the last but not the least is du path from node I to node k. So this is something, this is the most effective one, third one, but we'll discuss, sorry, this is third one and this is your fourth one. So we'll discuss this one first and then we'll go ahead one by one. So the first one, if you talk about here, yeah, so for the first thing, what we have here is something called as definition clear path segment. So a definition clear path segment is he is explaining this with respect to a strategy X. Okay, just remember that we have a strategy X. Now here, phase with respect to this particular X, what he's saying is that there is a connected sequence of links between the nodes. There is a connected sequence of links that exists such that the first link, whatever you're saying, this is the first link what we have here. This link is the one which will be having subsequent links. Okay, this is the one which is not defined. Okay, so the first link is the one which actually provides a statement with respect to that particular whatever the definition we have with respect to that particular variable. What it means to say here is that there are three different nodes, let us suppose we have, and in between we are having a link. So this first link will provide the definition for the variable whatever we are using, whatever the variable we are using in this to represent it, that variable definition will be present in this particular link, and the remaining links whatever are there in between, whatever the subsequent links what we have within this, these subsequent links will not be having, in this we will not be redefining that particular variable, neither we are going to kill that particular variable. Means once that particular variable is defined in the first part, after that we are not going to modify the value present in that particular variable, and at the same time we are not going to kill that particular variable till the entire program completes. This is what he means to say by definition clear path segment. Okay, let me explain it one more time. What do you mean by definition clear path segment? Here is nothing but, whenever we this which consists of sequence of links, okay, which consists of sequence of links, something like this. Now what is saying in the very beginning, whatever the link we have here, we will be defining the definition of a variable. Suppose I am using some variable a, so I will be defining that variable here, and after that in the subsequent links, whatever the links we have later on, within these links I am neither going to delete them, neither I'm going to kill that particular variable, neither I am going to redefine that particular variable. That is not going to take place here. That will be simply done, it will be initially declared and that will be used it, but wherever we are using it, this variable will not be defined areas, redefined anywhere, neither it will be killed. That is what he is talking about here, definition clear path segment. But here the question that comes up, if you see here in this particular diagram, we have something called subpath also. Like you can see, the link is flowing in this direction, but there is also looping statements. So whenever a subpath comes up here, what he's saying here is that even though if there is a subpath present between two nodes, that doesn't mean that all the paths between those two nodes are definition clear. Means what it means to say that even though you're having a subpath which consists of multiple links, that doesn't mean that all those links are definition clear. There is a possibility they may be, they may not be. That depends upon the situation how we are using it. But basically whenever we are saying definition clear path, means the definition whatever is there with respect to that particular variable, that we are defining in the present link and the first link, and after that this particular variable will not be redefined again, it will not be killed. That is what he's saying in this particular scenario. That is what we call it as a definition clear path segment. Then we have something called as loop free path. So if you talk about here in this particular thing, free path, what do you mean by that is it is a path segment where every node is visited at most once. Okay, loop free path is the one where all the nodes whatever we have here like this, all these nodes will be visited at least one, at most one time, not more than that. Okay, more than one time you will not be visiting these nodes. So at most one time you will be visiting all these particular nodes. That is what he's saying in this particular scenario. Next we have something called a simple path segment. So this is a path segment. Oh, what do you mean by simple path segment? Here is nothing that here at most one node is visited twice. Simple path means there will not be any kind of looping statements here. Okay, first one is also loop free. Second one is also loop free. But the first one, all the nodes which are represented within a control flow graph CFG, sorry, CFG, all those will be visited at most one time, not more than that. But if you talk about something called a simple CFG, control flow graph. So the third one, what we are discussing here is simple path segment. If you talk about here, this is a path segment where at most one node is visited twice, at least one of the node, like something like, suppose this is the links we have. So you can see there is a looping. Okay, there is a loop here. Let us suppose. Now what happens here? This particular node, if you talk about this one, so one, two, so the second node is visited two times, but not more than that. At least at most two times, not more than that. That is what he is calling it as a simple path segment. It is also loop free, but depends upon, if what we call conditions. If you people are using some conditions and you're using goto and all, then you will be coming across these kind of things. So simple path segment is the one. What he's saying here is it is a path segment in which at most every node is visited twice. Okay, one node is visited twice. Any one of the node is visited twice. But if you talk about loop free path segment, it is a segment where every node is visited at most once. Okay, here every node we are going to want. So every node is you are going to visit at most one time. But if you talk about simple path segment here, that any one of the node, either it can be one, two, three, or four, any one of the node you will be visiting two times. That is the only difference. Both are loop free. Remember, both are loop free segments. There are no loops they are expecting in this particular thing. Then we have something called as DU paths. So I think you people might have understood what do you mean by DU. DU is nothing but defined and then used. So here a path segment from a node I to K. Okay, there exists a path segment from node I to K such that if the last link has computational use of X, then path is a simple and definition clear. So what he's saying is that if there is exist a path DU path between node I, so there is a node I and there is a node K. In between there is a du path. So you have defined a variable and you are using that particular variable. So what is saying that if there is a computational use, means if you are performing like see with respect to variable a equal to a plus b, you're doing some computation with this, right? So you're computing c. So if there is a variable c possible to apply within this particular link, then we call this particular link as definition clear path and a simple path. But within this path, node I to node k, if you are defining a variable, you are defining a variable like a, but rather than using computation, you are using it for predicate, like something if a is greater than b. If you're using like this, means rather you're just going for something called as conditional statements. Okay, you're using that variable for a condition, then we call that as a definition clear path and a loop free path with respect to p. So we are not representing with c, we are representing with p because I'm using that variable with respect to a predicate here. Predicate is nothing but p. And whereas coming to C is nothing but what we can say here. C is nothing but computational. If you're using assignment statements and you're performing some operations like this, we call it as computational. Means you're defining this variable A and then you're using this particular variable A in a format of calculation. So then we call it as definition clear path with C. But if you are using the same variable for something like, conditional operator, conditional checking and all, then we call it as definition clear and loop free, and followed with that we have something called as p. That is what he means to say in this particular scenario. So these are some, sorry, so these are some of the terminologies that we do have with respect to what we call data flow testing, and these are the one what we are going to see in our coming scenarios. Yeah. So coming to the strategies here, what kind of strategies we do have with respect to here is nothing but the DFT, the data flow testing strategies. We have different testing strategies, as I told you. So that strategies we are going to discuss here. So these are some of the one what we do have here. If you can see here, first one is all DU path strategy. Okay, all DU is nothing but all defined and used variable path strategy. We call it as ADUP, all capital letters. Then we have something called as all users strategy. Okay, we represent as AU, all user strategy. I'll explain them one by one so that you can get a clear idea regarding this. Then we have all P users but some C uses, or vice versa. Vice versa means all C users or some P users. That is what comes under your third one. Okay. And after that, within this, we have all definition strategies. Next one is AD. We represent this with AD. All definition strategies. I'll explain them. This is something relevant to these three. That's why it is represented again as one. This is a sub one with respect to three. Then we have something called all P users, all C users strategy. So that is also something like, it's a very easy one. Like all predicates users, all computational users. Remember, P is nothing but here predicate. I think you people right now are familiar with predicate, right? Predicate is nothing but whenever you're using a variable for computational purposes. Like if A is greater than B, so you are using two variables. So variable A is one and variable B is one. So these two variables you are using to compare. So all the computations. So based on the computation, you'll be selecting the block, whatever it might be, else block, something like this. So any one of the block will be executed. So whenever you are using the variables for computation purposes, we call it as predicate. But if you are using the variables for performing some computations like A equal to A plus B, then we call it as computation C. Okay, computation, or in easy terms we can say it is something like calculation, using the variable for calculation purposes. That is what he's saying in this particular scenario. So let's see them one by one. These are very simple and normal strategies what we do have. Yeah. What is the main purpose of this is test design, development of test case. All these strategies are used for two purposes: for designing the tests as well as for developing the different test cases what we do have. Now, coming to the first one, all DU paths, if we talk about here, this is one of the strongest data flow testing strategy we do have. Yes, this is one of the strongest data flow testing strategy that we do have. Now here, what he's saying is that it requires every DU path for every definition. Remember, here, what we are saying, DU. What do you mean by DU here? We are defining a variable and then we are using that particular variable. So that is what is represented. Every DU path for every variable, for every definition to every usage must be exercised under some test cases. Okay, so what it means to say exactly here is that every DU path, whatever we have, means wherever the variable you have defined and using in vitro. Suppose this is the variable we have. You people are defining a variable A here, and then you're performing A equal to A plus B something. So what does that mean? You are using this variable A in order to perform. So what is the value we get? DU. Now this link is what we call it as a DU link. Now in this link, what is saying that for every variable, so every variable will have its own definition. Okay, we are defining it. So definitely that is a definition here. And we also define the usage, how we are going to use it. For that, there should be some test case present. So indirectly, what it means to say that in between these particular two nodes, there exists a DU link. You have defined a variable and using a link, and for that link there should be some test cases for sure. You need to generate some test cases for sure for such a kind of links what we do have. That is what he means to say in this particular scenario. Okay, now one more thing which I wanted to include in this is that all DU paths are the strongest in this. It is the strongest criteria, but it does not take into test. Okay, it might seem to be first because here the what he means to say that we already said that it is one of the strongest data flow testing strategy, but it will not take as many tests as it want. It will be generating the test cases depending upon the requirements, and it's not like if it is when usually how we see particular thing as the strongest is nothing but depending upon quality and quantity. Here what he says that since it is strongest, that doesn't mean that the quality is more. Means I mean, sorry, the quantity is more. I mean, he is not going to generate more number of test cases. Only limited number of test cases are the one they are going to generate it, but it will have such a quality that it will try to cover all the parts, all the DU parts whatever are available within a particular control flow graph. All those will be captured by this particular strategy. That's why it has become as strongest DFT, data flow testing strategy. Okay, I hope it's very clear with this. Next, we have something called all use strategy. All use strategy, if you talk about here, it actually includes at least one of the path. Okay, you can see here it is highlighted. At least one definition clear path segment from every definition of every variable to every use of that definition be exercised under some test. Means what is saying that at least one definition clear path. I think you people are familiar now with this terminology, definition clear path. Okay, we have seen it in the previous slide. So at least one of that particular path segment you should select it, where the definition of that particular variable, whichever variable you're taking, you're defining that variable. So if the definition or the definition of that particular variable and the way you people are using, that is du of that particular definition, should be exercised for some test cases. Indirectly, this is somewhat familiar to the first one. Well, at least one means in this particular all du paths, what we are doing, we are defining wherever the du kind of variables are coming, we are trying to perform or generate test cases for such a kind of thing, and we are trying to test it up wherever it is coming. But all user strategy, what is saying is that all the variables which are in under use and which are defined, at least one of the variable among them should be selected for testing. They should be selected for some test. Means if you're generating 3 test cases for this particular all use case strategy, among these 3 test cases, one of the test case should be able to test a variable a. Suppose within the program you're having 3 different variables you are using within a program. Simple, you can take additional 2 numbers, a equal to b plus c, and you people have generated 3 test cases. So among these 3 test cases, any one of the test case should be testing the variable a. Another test case should be able to test the variable b, and the next one should be able to test the variable c. So at least one definition clear path segment should be taken into account, and for that you people should be writing test cases and executing on that particular thing. That is what he's saying in this particular scenario. That's it. So you can see here the next statement, what is defining here, at least one path segment from every definition to every use can be reached from that particular definition. So we can reach the du path from the defined variable, and the way that is being used here, we can directly reach that particular du path he is saying here. So indirectly what he means to say that at least one of the particular variable which you have people had defined very clearly and it has been used somewhere, we need to write a test case which can perform or which can test that particular variable. That is what he means to say in this particular scenario. Then we have all P users or some C users, or vice versa, like all C users and some P users. Well, basically here you can consider this as a somewhat weaker criteria. Okay, so this one you people can consider it as a somewhat weaker strategy. Okay, weaker one, it's a weak, you can call it as weak strategy what we do have. Why? Because why it is weak, the main thing, why it is calling it as a weak here is because here we are discussing about this particular all p users some c cases. Now this will be getting the information from something called as apu plus c, isn't it? All p users and some c users, this is the one what we are using. Okay, so here what he means to say, what is the strategy they are exactly following here is that select the test cases for all the AU, okay, all the P users, all the P users, except that if we have a predicate use, then there is no need to select an additional computation use. What he means to say here, I'll explain this later. Just a minute. Yeah, all P users and some C users is talking about, right? Let me explain this first, and the next one you will be understanding easily, because that is a opposite of that particular thing. This one, all P users some users means he is asking you to generate the test cases. He is asking you to generate or develop the test cases in such a way that all the P uses, all the predicates, whatever we are using, that is nothing but conditional statements, whatever we are using within the program, all those are actually captured within this test cases. Whatever the test cases you are generating here, those test cases should be able to capture all the predicate uses. Predicate uses is in the sense nothing but what wherever you people are getting the branching statements like conditional statements and all, like for loop you're writing I equal to 1, I less than equal to. So you're testing here. So such a kind of statements, you're using while statement, you're using if else statements, all these kind of statements or all these kind of functionalities wherever you're using within the program, these should be covered using this particular test cases, whatever we are writing it. But there is a probability that some test cases we may, some means all the test cases might not be able to capture all these conditional statements in a program. There might be some way, somewhere or some other point you may be missing selecting this particular conditional statements. So in that case, what is asking you to do is use some computational uses wherever, if wherever, it means wherever, if you are able to miss some of the conditional statements, no big deal. Use some of the use cases, not all. Remember, that's why he's calling it as some use cases he's asking you to perform in this particular scenario. I hope you people might have understood this. What he's simply saying is this, that he is asking you to simply generate the test cases in such a way that all the predicate uses, whatever are there within the particular control flow graph of the program, what we are writing, are captured. Okay, then that means we can test it up. But in case if some predicates are left behind, we are not able to capture using the test cases, then he is asking you to generate the test cases with respect to C uses. C uses means calculation or computational uses. And remember this, whatever we are generating the test cases, they are actually getting it from APU plus C. And this is stronger than P2. I think you people are familiar with P2, right? We have three things, right? Sorry, P infinite, P1, P2. So I think you people might have understood this. P infinite is nothing but path testing strategy. And if you talk about P1, P1 is related to statement testing. And the P2 is related to something we call it as branch testing. That's the reason he is actually capturing this. I hope you people are getting a clear idea now. P2, and we represent that as C1 and C2. And in the control flow testing, we have seen that C1 plus C2 is the one we actually try to capture it up, because if we try to go for complete path testing, it is not possible. We have already discussed. So mainly we focus on C1 plus C2. C1 is related to statement testing, whereas C2 is related to branch. So here we are discussing about predicate. Predicates will come only when conditions are used. Indirectly, branch statements. So definitely it is stronger than P2. So here AP's U plus C is much more stronger than P2. Okay, so that is what he is saying. But since from here you people are able to generate a test cases for this particular strategy is somewhat weaker. Same way, all C uses some way means he is asking you to reverse it. So you people have to generate the test cases where all the computational uses are actually taking place. C uses are taking place. But there is a possibility that some computational statements you might be missing it. In that case, he is asking you to select some predicate. So predicate use, some predicate use, not all predicate use, some predicate uses he is asking you to take. This is the reverse of it. That's why it is represented like this. See here, all computational uses plus predicate. And remember that this is weaker than P2, because P2 is actually what we call it as related to your branching statements. But here the main focus is on computation. In case when we are performing this all computational uses, some are missed, then we'll go with some predicates, not all predicate. That's why it is weaker than branch statement. But if you talk about APU, you are actually focusing on your something called as branch, I mean what we call predicate. Predicate is nothing but branch. So definitely some computations you are using means this is much more stronger when compared to your branching statement, because apart from branching you're using computation, but here your focus is only on computation, sometimes on branching, very less number of times. That's why it is weaker than your P2. That is what he's representing in third one. And next comes here is all definition strategies. If you talk about this all definition strategy here, here what I means to say that is that every definition, okay, every variable, whatever the every definition of every variable to be covered, at least one use of that particular variable. So I hope you people are getting it. What I means to say here is it should cover. So this particular strategy should cover every definition by at least once of a particular variable. So whichever variable you are defining, A, B, C, whatever you variables you people are defining, the defined variable should be covered at least one time with respect to P or with respect to C. Means either for computation purpose it should be covered, or it should be covered for program, I mean predicate, either any one of them, it should be covered. And remember that this is always weaker than ACU plus P and APU. So the whatever the definition what we are doing here, we are just trying to make sure that at least one time that variables whatever we have defined are used with respect to predicate and with respect to computation, and we are testing them. So at least one time is asking, not multiple times. So means you don't have to cover all the statements. So at least one time you can, if you are able to use that particular variable at least one time in somewhere in the test case, that's enough. You don't have to multiple times you have to test that particular variable, even though it is coming within the program multiple number of times, or multiple times it is getting redefined, no big issue. One time if you're able to test it up, enough. But here, that's why it is calling it as weaker, because if a variable you're taking and you're testing, like initially I have declared a equal to 10, you people have tested here either with respect to P and C. Okay, fine. But later on, if I convert a equal to a plus b, what happens here? 10 plus 2. Let us suppose the value of b is 2. So now the variable value has been changed, but I did not. I'm not testing this. I hope you people are getting it. I'm not testing this variable. This is a redefined variable now. Initially, the value of a is 10. This is defined. But now again, I have redefined it, but after using it. So at least one time, if you're using it, fine. Later on, again, if I am not using and again I'm trying to change it up, definitely the value will be changed here. So obviously here the value will, I mean, the test case may not be perfectly functioning. So that is the main problem that exists here, due to which we are calling it as it is weaker than the previous one. Previous one, what it is doing, it is actually first either predicate, whatever the predicates we are using with respect to that particular variable, we are testing it up. If somewhere or the some point that predicates are is missed, then we are using computation. Same with the other one, but in this case not like that. Only one time, either with respect to P or with respect to C, one time we are only performing that particular strategy. So that may not be sufficient in order to perform or test that particular strategy. That's why it is somewhat weaker when compared to the other things. And the last but not the least, what we have is all predicate users, all computation users strategies. So predicate users we represent as APU, and computational users we represent as ACU. So what do you mean by all predicate users? I think the name itself specifies whatever the logics or conditional statements we are writing within the particular program, all should be included. So that is what is saying. Include definition free path for every definition of every variable. So this is something, don't get confused here. Definition pre path for every definition means you are defining a variable A. So what you're doing? You're defining it. So you're representing as T of every variable. So this is he's saying that you're defining a variable. Okay, for every variable, whichever variable you're using, you're defining it from the definition of predicate use. Okay, so predicate use means wherever you people are using within the predicate, all those you people have to show that there is a different, I mean, definition free path existing here, and every definition of that has been used in the predicate perfectly. That is what he means to say in this particular scenario. Something like you people are declared variable A here, and you are using somewhere in the logic if A is greater than B, or if A is not equal to something, and writing. So you're defining a clear free path here. Or what is that? The value of variable is something 10, and that 10 value is great. So you're using it in a predicate. So both are done. It's a definition clear. One time you're declaring the variable as 10. This is what we call it as static. And after that, you people are checking that variable 10 with something, some value B. So what you're doing, you're clearly defined what is the value of that variable is. That is what definition clear path. And now using predicate, you are trying to find out some solution for that. So either A is greater or B is greater. So that thing is coming under this. So that is what we call it as all predicate use. Same way all computation uses, nothing but like you people might be using that variable for computation purposes and all. So all the definition, so at least so all definition free path to every computation. So that particular definition free path with respect to the variable A, or with that any variable whatever you're declaring, that variable should be used for computation. Okay, so you need to use it for computation purpose. That is what he is talking about in this particular scenario. So I hope this is very clear with this particular thing. You people might have understood what exactly it's happening here in this particular scenario. Now, once as we have completed the strategies, now this is something like the chart. You can say this is a tree diagram. which one is stronger and which one is weakest, you can see that all path strategy, that is nothing but P infinite, is always on top. This is the one which is the strongest when compared to others. And after that, immediately after all path strategy, what is the next one we do have here? Something called as all DU paths. This is the one that comes under your picture. And for after that DU, I think we have discussed it. And after that, which one comes here is all uses path strategy. So this is somewhat weaker than this all DU paths, but this is stronger than compared to the lower one, whatever we are representing. So this is in decreasing order we are representing. The first one is the highest one, then we have another one, somewhat lower, weakest, somewhat weakest, like that. So here all uses path strategies classified in two types, like as we have seen, all C's, some P's, or all predicate users and some computational users. So all computational users with some PUs means we will be focusing on all CUs, and all P users, but some C users will be using all P users. And here, when you're talking about predicate, definitely that comes under your branches, P2. And then within the branches, what you people will be having is statement. So this is the way how they have actually hierarchically represented this particular strategies, whatever we have actually discussed. So on the top, whatever we have is all path strategy. Followed with that, we have DU paths, and below the DU paths, we have all use path strategies. And this is classified based upon. So use path means all computational users, some predicate use, all predicate users, some computational users. So when you are focusing on all computation users and some predicate means the more focus, 98 95% of the majority focus is on computation. So all computational users comes under this. And same way here, when all predicate users you're focusing on, the 95% of the time you'll be focusing on predicate. So definitely you will be using all predicate users. So when we are talking about predicate here, this is nothing but a branching statements. So all the branches will be covered in this, that is P2. And then finally within the branches you'll be having statements. That statements need to be covered in this particular scenario. So this is all about your data flow testing strategies what we do have. Now, apart from this, we have something like slicing. This is a small topic what we do have. So testing, maintenance, and debugging. So here we do have a slicing here. Slicing is, I think you people know the meaning of slicing. This is nothing but a small portion we can say. So here, this small portion is what he's saying, that it is a small part. Same way here with respect to the program, it is the smallest part of a program that is defined with respect to the variable and the statement yes. Okay, we usually represent s or we can represent as I. Okay, it is the smallest part of a program. So whatever the program you're writing it, among them only small portion you're going to take it up. So that will consist of a variable and it will consist of the statements with respect to that particular variable. Okay, and here that set of statements whatever you have gathered here, this is the one which will be affecting this particular variable. Like something you people have written int a b c, a equal to 10, something like that, and then you're writing c equal to a plus, or something like a equal to a plus b. Now this portion is what we can call it as a small slice, which consists of the variables. Along with the variables we have some statements also. Now these statements will be affected by the values based upon the variables how we are using, the statements will be changed. That is what he means to say in this particular thing. So that is what he is calling it as slicing. So what is the main purpose of this slicing is nothing but if you can take a small slice and you can perform the operation or perform test cases on that, you will be able to determine exactly where there is a bug. Okay, if you are able to slice them, chop it up into small pieces, and if you can test them, then it becomes easy for you to identify where exactly which portion the bug is there, rather than testing the entire program like 10,000 lines of code is very difficult. But that 10,000 lines, if you convert into some 10 lines of code or 100 lines initially and then 10 lines of code and then you do it up, it becomes easy to identify where exactly the bug is present. Remember that. So the base, that's the thing we are actually performing in slicing. But remember that the slicing should be done in such a way that whatever the variable you are taking within that, their statement should also be present with respect to that particular variable. Then only you can perform this particular testing and all. And how we can do it means we can do it using debugging. Debugging is the one which actually performs performs testing on this particular slicing. That is nothing but taking the code, and based on that, you people are just calculating the logics and all. I think you people know how to do debugging and all, so that comes under your slicing. Well, this slicing can be done. Dynamic slicing is also possible. Static slicing is also possible. Static means if you are giving the variable as a static and then giving the logics and performing operation, that comes under static. But if the variable is taking the value as dynamically, then definitely that comes under dynamic slicing. Remember that. And then we have something called as dicing. Well, what do you mean by dicing here is nothing but it is actually a part of a slice. Whatever the slice you people are taking it in which what we are going to do, whatever the slice, first thing is we are taking a slice, right, from a particular program. We are taking a slice of a particular program. Within that program, whichever statements are correct statements we do have, we will simply remove them. That is what we call it as dicing. Dicing is nothing but whatever the slice we have selected in the previous slide. Okay, with respect to a particular program, whenever you're chopping that particular program into slices, and when you select that particular slice, in that whichever the correct statements are there, that statements you will be simply removing it, so that you're means indirectly what you're doing is you're simply filtering it up, so that you can identify where exactly the bug is and you can correct that particular bug. Okay, so that is what he's talking about in this particular terminology called as dicing. So this is a one which is obtained from incorporating correctness information for testing or debugging. So based upon testing and debugging, that's what he's saying. First you will select the slice, you will be performing debugging on that, then based on that you'll come to know what are the statements which are correct. You'll simply remove them. That terminology is what we call test dicing. And which we cannot remove it means there is a bug present in that and we need to rectify that. That is what he is doing in this particular scenario. I hope it's very clear and you people have understood it. So how we can perform debugging here is that is what he has explained the steps. So first we'll select the slice, then we'll perform the debugging. We'll narrow it to dice, means we'll remove the correct statements whatever we are having it. Then definitely we are left only with the faulty statements, and that faulty statements will simply refine it till it's one faulty statements. That's it. That is what we call it as debugging here. So this is all about related to your this. As I told you, we can perform dynamic slicing. This is a slide related to that. So this is all we have related to this, and these are some of the applications related to data flow testing. If we can just go through this particular thing. Okay, so these two are there. How we can apply this testing strategies and all, that is what is represented in this particular thing. Whatever we have discussed it's a consolidated kind of thing what he is representing here. Now in the next session, we'll be discussing about something called as domain testing. So in the domain testing means till now we discussed about control flow graphs where we are seeing how the control is flowing from one path to another path. For that we have generated test cases on how we need to do. Then we discussed about something called data flow. So how within this control the data is flowing, for that we have seen the testing. Now we will see the domain testing. So how the domains are actually tested, how we are going to generate it, what are the different terminologies we have, and what are the different kind of testing interfaces we are going to use. That we will discuss in the coming session. So this is all for today's session. I hope you people have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.